people would cross the organization. So you'd have somebody from marketing or comms with a salesperson that naturally came together. And some of this helped us find bugs in the product before we released it. But fundamentally what it did is it got those 168,000 people comfortable with using AI and be willing to take some chances and take some risks. The other thing that we've been doing is, inside of my organization, we made a hard shift to Adobe, and that's our marketing tech stack. And we're looking across everything we do to look at the tools, because it's very easy if you have a plethora of tools in your organization and you've got this tool that 5 people use, it's very easy for everybody else to say, I don't need to deal with that. But if you take a step back and look and reduce your number of tools and make sure you're implementing the AI across those tools and say everybody's using this, then everybody has to learn. Because then you're going to be like, then you're going to lose out to the person who is using AI. You're not going to lose out to the AI, you're going to lose out to the person who's using it.
Yeah, I heard that. I want to just bring that point up. You're not going to lose your job to AI, you're going to lose your job to someone who knows how to use AI. That's right. That's key, because you have to learn how to adapt.
You do, and the fundamental thing is, as leaders, you and I and others in this room, and Maha, you as well, like, the average shelf life of a tech skill is just under 3 years today. So think about the skilling that you have to do for people who work in your organization to both use the technology, but to operate in an organization that has technology deployed in a different way, even if they're not touching it. There's a constant learning that needs to happen.
No, I agree. I think about people that have been in our organizations in the marketing function for over 15 years, doing the same thing, most likely in spreadsheets, right? And then you've got to really think about how to help them to automate and to pivot and to think about new technology. And so that is a real challenge for leaders to try to make sure that our own people, step up to the challenge and upskill themselves. They've got to. And so this technology is turning every 2-3 years, and yet you have folks that have been working in the same kind of technology for a really long time.
Okay, so, I want to dive into marketing, real purebred marketing, building brand, trust, credibility with customers. What are you doing in your organizations today, knowing how AI can help with the creative process, for example, to help build better marketing strategies?
Look, it's we think about AI in a couple of different ways. We think about it in efficiency, obviously, and we also think about it, to your point, in efficacy. So whether it's in creativity, whether it's in thinking about how we use our data a little bit better to put relevant, personalized offers and whatever you want to our customers and our clients. And so from an efficiency standpoint, several things that we've done. So we actually have decreased the time that it takes to write all of our thought leadership series that really drive our optimization and search by 17%.
Wow.
So we have people who used to write these things. Writing took them 6, 7, 8 days. It now, it takes them maybe half an hour to prompt properly, and it takes them about 7 hours to edit. And so when you think about the efficiency that drives, but more than that, then as the Gen AI becomes smarter, it actually starts helping us produce better content. And when the content is smarter, it actually rises up to the top of search, right? Or particularly organic search. And so for us, we've seen 3x, more than 3x times the efficacy, literally the business results coming out of it as a result of the work that we've done through Gen AI in search. So that's just one example. So there's plenty of examples. I think the biggest thing that we have to think about, particularly in our industry, in financial services, the first thing we think about always, even through the lens of innovation, is brand safety and customer safety.
Yep.
We have over 60 million digitally active users.
60 million?
60. And so you can imagine, with that large of a customer base, we've got to make sure they're safe. Now it happens also on the JP Morgan side of the business, right? We've got tens of thousands of clients, and we also you make sure you have their data in a lot of cases. And so how you use the data that you have, I think we have a tremendous responsibility. So as we think about AI, we think about it in that context. So how do we drive creativity, efficacy, all the things I'm talking about, but how do we do it in a way that is safe for our customer and safe for our brand. That to us is really
Love
important.
that. So creativity, efficiency, systems, processes, efficacy. What about the role of brand purpose? And then I want to come to you and talk about what you guys are doing. Just on that point.
It's critical. Like how people think about your brand, do they trust your brand? It's really critical, and particularly in our businesses where a lot of the stuff becomes commoditized, where the fear of commoditization happens. You know, like in some of our businesses, we give offers to our customers, someone else is going to give an offer to our customer, right? At the end of the day, how you actually stop the switching and create brand loyalty is by the brand and the values of the brand and the stories we tell and the engagement we have as a brand. And so what's really, really important is as the innovation and technology just completely blossoms, we also have to be really careful not to lose the humanity of your brand. Because at the end of the day, that's what you're selling. A brand is a promise. It's a promise you make to your clients and your customers. What are you promising them? And that is really important. So purpose is at the heart of everything we do.
Jonathan, I want to know, what from a marketing standpoint, how are you in this AI-driven world, driven efficiencies and strategies? How are you playing it out in your marketing?
So we're using it, two key places that I'll talk about. One is really about how do we get more effective and target where we need to be better. So there's content creation, which I'll talk about as well, but I look at our events. We'll do over 2,000 events in a year as a company. That's half the number we were doing 2 years ago. Half. We're seeing 5% more client interest come out of those events at a lower cost, 30% less cost on doing those at a half the level we were doing before. Because we're able to use AI to better understand where we should be, who we should be engaging with, and on what topic. I think the other place for us, and Carla touched on it, is the content creation. So last year at Adobe Summit, we took over the Sphere in Las Vegas. And we turned it into a giant fishbowl. And it was all about trusting the AI, trusting what you create, because Watson X is behind the AI in Adobe. The ideation to get to the concept would have taken us 15 days. It took us 2 days.
2 days, down from 15.
Down from 15.
Wow.
Like our digital banners that we run today used to have 7 handoffs across 9 different teams. 9 handoffs across 7 different teams, sorry. That took on average of 6 weeks. We're now down to 6 seconds in a day. And we only say a day because we want to give people the opportunity to weigh in. But now we can create that content in 6 seconds. So it is driving so much more focus. And when you've got an international business, as we do and many others do, you need to then be able to iterate. And AI is also helping us iterate and manage, have that content management so that you don't have disparate things out there.
What I'm hearing from both of you is the speed and efficiency is unparalleled.
I would say the speed and efficiency, but I would also then say the effectiveness. And
Yeah.
why? Because it gets smarter, right? So in our Chase Digital app, for example, we think about like, where should we place the content? And Gen AI is helping us think through, like, so for you, Maha, I might put an offer higher somewhere on our actual, Chase Digital app, and I would put a totally different offer for Jonathan, but maybe the same offer might be lower for him because it's not. And so look, we've all been using large language models and like AI for quite a bit, but the generative AI piece is the thing that's the game changer. Just wait till we get even past that and into it. But I do think that it's helping us get smarter because it's learning from the mistakes that it makes. It's also learning from the positive. And so as marketers, we can't just think about it only as the efficiency piece. We've really got to think about it. It just makes us smarter and allows us to do more things. So yes, definitely the time save is there, but it's actually delivering business results.
Not just the what, but the how.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, we're piloting a tool that we've created inside that allows us to look at where we are in terms of our goals, our budget, our people, our targets, all those things, and say, what's the next best thing we should do? Understanding this, where should we spend our money? Where should we go engage with this person that's an open opportunity? Where's there a new opportunity that we haven't seen? And it's getting smarter as we pull more of that data in and continues to learn. So it's really, the opportunities here are massive.
How many people in the audience are in charge of marketing or a CEO, founder of a company? What advice would you give to the people who just raised their hand on how they might be able to use AI for their marketing?
Carla said it before, and I'm going to steal it before she can say it again. Take advantage of the opportunity you have today, that you're building a culture from the start. And you don't need to go through that massive culture change. So take full advantage of that. I cannot stress it enough.
Yeah, definitely. If you're in a smaller organization, take advantage of it because it's one of our biggest challenges. Biggest piece of advice that I would have is actually the change management. So if you are not in that bucket of people that have the luxury of starting from scratch, if you are in our bucket, I would say the biggest thing you have to do is think about how you manage the change. Because it's not good enough to just have a vision. It's not good enough to even just have a strategy. It's not good enough to go procure the tools and bring them in and build the right APIs to bring them into it. It's not enough. The change management at the end of the day, how you change the behavior and the minds of the people that are going to ultimately do the work, is the biggest work that we have.
Ladies and gentlemen, Carla and Jonathan, thank you so much for being with us today.